Thanks for coming. My name is Tamás Bábel, and let's dive into this topic. So let me introduce myself. I am a medical doctor, have a PhD in behavioral sciences, then switched to business, work for management consultancy, big pharma, and recently I am involved in the startup funding, market access, product development, and partly work for the EIT Health Innostar. And I would love to introduce my colleagues here. First, Zsófia.
Hi, I'm Zsófia Anna Gaál. I'm a researcher, psychologist. I'm the leader of the cognitive psychology research group at the Hungarian HUN-REN research. Sorry, the English name. Research Center for Natural Sciences. Yes. So basically, I deal with healthy aging, healthy cognitive aging. I deal with electrophysiology. We use EEG, ERPs, and I have also cognitive training studies. And nowadays we have a project in which we study how menopause, sex hormones influence cognitive aging.
Hello, my name is Wójcik. I am a theoretical physicist originally, but I've been working for the last 20 years in the Institute for Experimental Biology of the Polish Academy of Sciences, where I am heading the laboratory of neuroinformatics. So computational neuroscience and neuroinformatics is what I do. And I largely focus on electrophysiology, a little bit of behavior. I'm mainly interested in how do you relate the measurements, all kinds of measurements, to what's happening in the brain. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. So there will be only two topics. One is about what are the emerging trends, the big news in brain aging. And the second one, in terms of research, and the second one, what it takes to make it to the market. Okay? So first question to the audience. Who believes, who thinks that the brain aging is reversible? 1, 2, 3. Okay, interesting. So do you know something already about the research progress? And the second question, what do you think that it is only a question of money make it to the market, or there is something else what we should do? So basically, the money people, raise your hands.
Was the question once again whether it's like the problem of money?
Yeah, it's problem of money.
Only money.
Only money. So there are other things. Okay, let's figure it out, okay? So let's start with the first one. I would love to ask you to enlighten me, what are the biggest emerging trends in brain aging research? I'm asking from business point of view, because probably you are aware of that the longevity is a great trend in health right now. So everyone wants to live longer, and there are it's a huge business out there. But no one really wants to be alive, brain dead. And I'm following a lot of people in this area because it's very interesting from funding point of view. But the real problem is they are saying that there are no biomarkers or no clear points that you should follow as a person or someone who is interested in the brain aging. Is that true? So, what is going on in the brain aging?
Well, if you ask the question this way, I won't answer what I would answer as a researcher. because I think the business and what can research do is not the same. So there are very easy things that you can do against brain aging. And no one do this. Everyone knows that exercising, healthy diet, social interactions will do. So they will affect.
But the real question is that I know that, but is there a way to quantify
How can I
it?
pursue you to do
Yeah,
this?
is there a kind of biofeedback so I can see that I am more smarter now, or because if you go for a run, then you can read your strain or other metrics which says that you are better, or YO2, or a lot of easy to access data, and you can say I am better right now. So how about this in
Okay,
terms
but
of brain?
you don't do that. So we have the data, but we don't do this. So I think there's a divergence. What we know about brain aging and what we do.
That's interesting.
And also, it's not easy that we want to use a lot of techniques to boost your brain, but as you age, it becomes more difficult to use a lot of devices. So it's more and more difficult to use newer devices to help your everyday life. So I can remember that my grandma couldn't use a new phone. So she had a phone, a very basic phone, and she got a new one. I think it was similar, very similar, but she couldn't use. So after changing her phone, she couldn't call us. And so when we are talking about to have newer and newer devices and newer and newer parameters to help elderly, they cannot use. So probably we should think about how to simplify the devices we have and use the data we have. So in the earlier panel, they talked about that we have more and more data and we should use them well. But yes, we should simplify them for the people who should use this information.
Okay, but what is the big thing in brain aging? What is the big thing in brain aging research at the moment? If you have to select one.
Well, two. Okay, so I think very different thing. As a researcher, I think, and it's connecting with business, is cognitive training. That's one of the biggest business, and I think
Outside of the TV, right?
outside of TV. Okay, yeah.
Watching TV.
Yeah.
All the right.
Yes, and probably the other one is gender differences. So nowadays there's a focus that our world is developed for men and not for women. And nowadays we realize it, and we start to develop our tools and our environment that is safe for women as well. So I think there's a lot of business in that one.
Actually, we need to apologize for that, right? Okay.
I let Daniel to answer your questions.
First, anyone from the audience, big thing in brain aging, you have any comment on that or something to add on? For example, who believes in the reversible brain aging?
As you, Dr. Gaál, just said, cognitive training is a very interesting topic in reversing cognitive decline. And there are a lot of business applications, a lot of medical applications as well. And I personally believe that it is a huge trend. that it's still, I would say, pretty new. But from a perspective, there is a lot of potential if we will continue doing our research on the specific training routine that people with dementia can undergo, specific range of exercises that they need to do to tackle, for example, the problems with attention span or memory deterioration or this cognitive impairments. So just answering your question, cognitive training is a huge thing from my perspective that can actually help us a lot to, first of all, improve the state of life of people who are already affected with cognitive decline, and also reverse some early signs of cognitive decline as well.
As you touch the microphone, please, you can share something. Okay. Daniel?
Right, so I would comment on this. I fully agree with Zsófia, but those are very important questions. And of course, as a male, I feel very sorry that we have dominated, so many aspects of life, including the research. But you're doing a great job now, trying to push in the important feminine side. I will maybe comment on 3 aspects. So. As you were asking about what's important in aging research now. I mean, so I think on one hand we have lots of development in the biomedical side. I mean, like cellular senescence or the inflammation. I mean, we know that they are very important, and there's a number of drugs which are being tested, and perhaps they will bring the innovations. They are not here yet, but. Surprisingly, I think that the lifestyle changes seem to be still the most promising thing. So, like the exercises and the diet. I mean, they still to be the most promising, and at the same time one of the most difficult to actually adhere to, even if you wanted to. What I find interesting in this context, I was trying to look up what people feel about this. In fact, this is not just in the field of aging, but in many other fields. In fact, when you look at the meta-studies comparing the results of research in different countries between different researchers, the problem is very often people do not agree on the definitions. So even such basic things like what is the physical exercise or what is gymnastics or whatever. I mean, there are significant differences between different studies. So it's in fact very difficult to say, what is working, what is not working. So I think, just sort of referring to the topic of our session on this sort of transdisciplinary and sort of global European research and innovation things, and sort of referring to the session we had before. I mean, I think that the success of the Center TBI was that they actually had a uniform approach to the studies. They have defined what they want to do, and then actually can collect a more or less uniform data. That is not happening in aging, and that refers also relates to the third issue that I wanted to mention, which was also sort of appeared in the previous session, and that's the AI and the big data sort of approaches. In order to have to have any benefits from collecting of big data and using artificial intelligence, you actually need to have more or less uniform data because I mean, otherwise, if you've got data with ill-defined features and you want to just extract anything sensible, nothing's going to come out of this. So I think that even if you agree that AI is the squirrel of today, I mean, if you want to have benefits, I do think that really the way forward is just to push forward global collaboration to agree on sort of what are we going to test. Like if you're talking about the diet, or if you're going to talk about say physical exercise, just define specific protocols so that you could actually compare between cohorts, which is not possible today.
I just anyone who wants to add something to
Yes, it's a problem in research, that in aging research, that usually we have participants who are highly qualified, so with high IQ, and high IQ mean cognitive reserve. So they react to cognitive aging in a very different way than people who had lower IQ. And yes, so it's difficult that we have conclusions from a data set that's not a real data set. So because people, so average people won't come to the lab. So they are not in good health, they are not motivated enough, they won't come. And it's very rare that these research reach to these people. So yes, so what we know, yes, it's a problem that Danielle said, that the circumstances are not really uniform, and yes, the regions in our country as well, so we have very different regions, and our participants usually from the capital and not from the poorer regions, and they live in a very different way, and yes, they don't have the education, the food which is good enough for a healthy aging, and they don't have the information how to live. So in the research, we don't know these people how to live and how to how we could change their life. So we can know a lot about healthy cognitive aging, but we won't reach them. And yes, so there were some words about education, and we should transfer this knowledge, but usually we don't do nowadays. But yes, we should change this.
Okay, then I try to summarize what I heard so far. So cognitive training and gender differences, they are the two big things in brain aging. And probably we could move to the next topic, right? So again, I just want to say that there are a lot of money out there that you can grab and create services and products, because everyone is interested to have something which at least make the brain aging slower. For example, EIT has giving away non-diluted funding for startups at any stages. So basically, if you sign up at the website, you can be enrolled in business development or startup development programs. And if you are more mature startup, then you can have a kind of validation track, and you will be able to get some funding early on to create your products or make it to the market. Even in the network of EIT House, you will be able to reach out hospitals and other professionals, industry players to work with, and they will help you to make this happen. As someone who is seeing and then watching this startup arena, I never came across a really good one. So in terms of brain and mental health or whatever, so I cannot recall. There are a lot of other things, but somehow the people being turned on if they see anything brain related, because they don't understand that. But if you think of the TV commercials, right? So you can buy an OTC drug pill, which you just pop in, and then you won't forget to purchase the milk what your wife or mother said to you. So it's clear that there is a huge demand for that, being more smarter anyway, or being less stupid or less less vulnerable in the senior ages and senior years. So I'm just asking my research fellows and the audience what they feel if it is not a money problem. What's the problem with bringing these ideas to the market?
So, not sure what the question is. Well, I would say, I mean, so I think that you know, a major problem is what showed up before, what Zsófia was mentioning, is the heterogeneity of the population and essentially complexity of the issue of the aging. I mean, so as we know, you know, there are the trajectory, even healthy aging has you know, very differing trajectories. So it's very difficult to superimpose this and find unique, simple solutions. I mean, that's one thing. The second challenge that I'm seeing is that I mean, I think that we have often, you know, communications issues between the different stakeholders, and that's like, you know, researchers on one side and clinicians on the other side, companies and the patients. I mean, I think that all of us have very different perspective, and sometimes it's difficult to come across these barriers. So I mean, I have the feeling that sometimes, you know, we as researchers are trying to solve the problems which are not critical clinically. I mean, maybe I'll give an example. So, like for instance, I was involved in epileptic project of sort of epileptogenic zone localization, and we are trying to be, you know, maximally precise, getting to the sub-millimeter region, and then you know, the clinicians tell us that in fact they're going to remove tissue on the order of centimeters. So in a way, you know, who cares if you are working on a sub-millimeter scale, right? And I think that, you know, often in the context of this biomedical research on the you know, across from the clinics, that's very common. Our problem, but somehow we sort of cannot agree, like, what is the current challenge, or maybe, you know, the issues that we can address as scientists are sort of not often compatible with what the clinicians see on their side, and then they do not have the time to really explain us, like, you know, where is the challenge. And then on the other side, you have patients, and every patient has a different problem, and usually it's not like, you know, I just have a Parkinsonism or what, right? I mean, usually you've got, you know, several different diseases, and then, you know, trying to disambiguate, like, you know, what do you want to treat, I think is a major challenge. And obviously, I mean, when you just break a leg, I mean, that is sort of, you know, easy point interaction that you can do. But with aging, you know, there are just too many things sort of coming on top of each other. And that is why I think, you know, it's just so difficult to address it, you know, really going beyond those very simple issues like, you know, the diet or exercise or something. And maybe just one more anecdotal comment is, I think that also, you know, just because of those sort of disparate approaches to studying different problems, we often, you know, lack proper controls in many cases. Again, I'll just give an anecdotal example. You know, an ex-student of mine was working on a neurofeedback project, and after failing several times with different protocols, he actually did an overview of the substantial body of neurofeedback research. And essentially after, and I mean, you hear the anecdotal references that it's very helpful to the people and so on and so forth. So actually, you know, they did a very thorough study of the available neurofeedback literature, and after removing all of them which were lacking proper controls, they were left with like 15 different papers which showed almost no results. Okay, and I think that, you know, that is often our problem also in the aging fields, that just because of this, as I mentioned, the difficulties in the definitions of the problems, the you know, similarity of the protocols, and lack of proper control groups, is very difficult to get something, you know, tangible which you can, you know, try to push to the market.
Okay, that's kind of, we are talking about the translational science, and you just said that this is a lost in translation, right?
That's for sure, yes. It's one of the problems.
What do you think?
We are short on panelists to involve the audience.
Thank you. So personally, I believe that, like, honestly, there may be many challenges that pose obstacles on the development of, like, brain research, specifically in healthy aging, is like the like limits with like obtaining sample, right? Participant samples with different backgrounds, like imaging techniques and all the technological like obstacles as well. In addition to this, from my perspective, there's also a lot of problems with regulations and some kind of bureaucracy that's going on in major like health institutions in like many countries all over the globe, especially in big countries, where there are like a lot of research universities, institutes, like separate organizations, companies, and startups that are working on the same problem. Yet they are not able to like share their research with each other because everyone is trying to protect their intellectual property. In addition to this, there's also a like disparity in funding and in different kind of research approaches. Because, for example, companies, they're trying to monetize their fundings, while like some research institutions are trying to bring these solutions to the pharma or to hospitals, to clinics. And all of this doesn't have this kind of straightforward approach. It's just like, from my perspective, kind of diverged. All the like knowledge that we are obtaining, like not without giving us a clear kind of recommendation, clear methods how to implement it to actually help people. So like, just to summarize, a lot of complications that do not just depend on the money, that like are currently present and that pose significant challenges in the developing of like new techniques for treating dementia, new techniques for like helping people reverse cognitive decline. So there's lots of questions. Anyone else wants to add something?
Just make sure that I understand that you are saying that like a silo mentality of the people. So basically, everyone is thinking within their compartment, and they are just territorial. So they don't want to share anything because they, afraid of the losing territory or what. This is what you are saying right now, yeah?
Partially, kind of like in every company is trying to protect the secret behind the product, right? And every research is trying to kind of like protect the intellectual property on the research project that they're working on, because like they're investing their time or the energy of the research team to discover new findings.
But basically the patenting and the IP protection is all about this, right? So
it's still very challenging. And it takes a lot of time. That's like the first argument that I was talking about. The problems with regulations and like the huge bureaucracy that like sometimes is present in research field, where like it takes years to publish a paper, it takes years to approve a patent, etc., which also slows down the process.
Let me understand that. So basically, if you come up with something interesting, and you started to a patenting process, then your idea is protected at the time when you submit it, not when you get the patent.
Honestly, I like don't know all the details behind of it, but
so please, if you have something, start the IP protection, okay, and then you can share it.
Okay.
Because the date when you submitted it, that's count, not the date when you get it. So it's already protected if you, okay, just, I hope someone getting something out of this discussion, That's at least some value created, not just sitting here, okay? I understand, right, okay, what you mentioned. So this is what you say. Okay, cool. How about you?
Do you want to add something?
Yeah, please.
No. Okay, just one more thought.
Anyone else? Do I just hide it there? No?
I'm not a brain researcher.
But you could have
You-
an opinion.
But you're going to H2, you know?
You have a brain, right?
Thanks for reminding me.
But you can have an opinion.
I'd rather listen.
Okay, one more thought. So I agree with you, both of you. I agree that it's a kind of a communication issue. I'm not sure whether the market will follow what a researcher finds. And we don't translate our results to them. And there are very simple problems that are not solved. We know for a long time that prospective memory declines with aging. So that kind of memory that we don't remember that we have to do something. And
It's the senior moment, right?
senior moment?
Yeah, there is a saying of it, senior moments. If you get older, then this is what you are talking about.
That you don't remember that you have to do something. The basic example that you don't remember that you have to take your medicine. And
I was like to ask you about what the difference between dementia and the brain aging.
okay, it's a different problem. I just want to give an example that I think it's a huge problem that older people cannot remember to take their medicine. And I remember that, again, my grandma, that she had a lot of medicines, and she had to take them different times, and two family members had to sort them each week. So it was a very complex problem. We had a table, and two young members did it every week. And she couldn't do this. So, and I cannot imagine why the market doesn't develop a tool with could select, sort the medicine, and a timing device which says that you have to take this medicine now. So it's just two, I think, simple problems. Okay, but the selection is a problem as well, so not just the timing. So there are two problems that they have to solve, and it's not solved. So it's an easy thing and not that complex. And I think there are a lot of problems that are not solved and so simple. So like prospective memory and not hidden thing. Everyone knows about it.
I think that if you are listening at all, then this is gonna be one of the key message of this panel. And this is what I see very often, coming ideas and product from the research, that they work on a technology, worked years, and the technology started to work and they published, and they want to find a disease for their technology. There is a word for that actually. There's a technology push type of innovation. They never succeed. Never ever. Sometimes they are lucky. They find the right market where they are going to push the technology, but it's a very painful journey, and I would never recommend to anyone. The other one is a market pull. And the market pull is what Zsófia just said. I see something which is not good in the world. And I personally want to see a kind of solution for that. Like selecting medicine. And then I have an idea how to solve it. And you're gonna be successful. Probably because your problem is already shared thousands and millions of people, and you can sell your solutions to them. So besides the fact that you can have funding from EIT Health, for example, free money actually, you always should think about the problems in real world terms and then somehow come up with a solution, hopefully in your research field, which can be beneficial to the society. So if there is a kind of congratulations or something that should go to Zsófia for mentioning this thing, because I already forgot it. So, end of the day, that's count. You should do market push type of innovation. Market pull type of innovation and not technology push, okay? So, let's talk about a bit, so basically, my question is that I am an investor, let's say, assume that. And I really would love to see a kind of product which I already told you, says that quantifies somehow my current brain health, get me a kind of baseline, and I can track it days and months and years and see the impact of my behavior on this metric or whatever. So that's the question. Do you see any chance to have that kind of biomarker or metric or whatever, what can be sold to the public to get a kind of biofeedback, and they will be able to improve their behavior for their brain health?
I think there are a lot of applications which promise you to have your brain score, and you can use it. The question is whether they are really work or not.
Can you recommend one?
I cannot say a specific one now, but yes, there are online cognitive tests and cognitive tests in applications, and they will say if it's a good one, there will be a representative sample behind the data, and they will compare your results with the population's results, and based on this, it will say that you are the average or you are above the average of the population.
Well, I don't want to take the test every day. So,
no, you don't have to, because your brain age won't change every day. So
I want to track it on a day level, right? So I'm just saying an example right now, okay?
But your brain age won't change every day, so yeah.
But I'm so busy, maybe it's aging more faster. So what I just want to say as a kind of out-of-the-box thinking, right? So I've been to a kind of EIT Health startup competition, and we had a startup who promised that they are going to say your blood sugar level based on your voice. So I'm just saying that do you think there will be a kind of this type of thing that from voice or whatever, or gazing, or your hand gestures, you will be able to create a kind of KPI or score, and you will be able to track your brain aging. Oh, finally.
You've got the mic.
Okay, thank you. So the question is to make a product which doesn't need patient cooperation or motivation, but still tracks as much as it can.
Yeah, people like to be served. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hard question. Always keeping the motivation of the patients, you know, in training or in assessment surroundings. So I was just asking to clarify the question, but that's all.
Okay, so I think that there are there are some companies that, or a specific company that deals with analyzing motion, and they state that they can distinguish preclinical stages of Alzheimer based on your motion, how you handle your computer and click with your cursor. So you can find them. I'm not aware where we can do some publicity at this event, but they state that they can do it. That this does not require engagement from the patient, because they are monitored during the specific daily tasks. So, for example, their walking, their gait, or their use of computer. The question is, in my opinion, that how can you motivate the patient to do the exercises that is good for their health? And also,
I was told you that you just take a pill if you have a fever, you have a number, and people works that easy. If you say that 25 is too high and you have to go down to 20, then you probably do something, or at least your granddaughter. Okay, thanks for coming to us. I'm just try to summarize what we heard. So we had two questions. The first question: what are the big things right now in the brain aging? And your answer happened to be that cognitive training and gender. And personalized medicine. And the second question, we investigated that what it takes to get anything in brain aging research to the market. And you said to me that this is not the question of money, it's more like being people territorial, thinking in silos and lost in translation. Did I miss something?
Thank you for your participation.
Thank you.
A big applause for you. Thank you.